the mid-credit scene is that we get Charlize Theron as Clea.
Clea says, you started an incursion. You have to help me fix it. Something along those lines. And then cuts a literal hole that looked like they did it yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It looked like they literally cut a green screen, and that's what.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Pizza time. Pizza time. Pizza time.
You like
pizza time?
Pizza time.
What am I doing? What am I doing, Alex? What is this?
I think you're opening a portal, or you're
I am
messing with Wanda or something. I don't know.
Exactly, baby, because we are getting right into it, man.
Yes, sir.
Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. We have finally seen it. And later in the episode, we'll also cover Moon Knight, the finale, and a little bit of the Avatar trailer too. But we need to get. I'm going straight to it because we've been waiting long enough to talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. We've both seen it now. I saw it earlier this week at a screening on first, and it was the hardest time I've ever had to not talk to you, my friend. We made a pact. Me and Alex were like, you can't, we're MIA. You're not going to say shit to me for the next 3 days, because Alex then saw it on Thursday, which was the opening day.
Right.
And then I actually got to see it at the same time for the second time also. So you ready?
I'm ready.
We're going to go straight into it and deep dive. Okay, let's do it. Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, my friend. Review. I'm just going to start straight up. What did you think of the movie?
So are we going to do like a scale of 1 to 10? 1 to 10? Is that what we should do?
Sure, yeah. I always think the scale of 10 is too much, but I'm down to go for the 10. It's fine.
1 to 5?
I like 1 to 5s. You know me. I like my one.
Okay, 1 to 5. 1 to 5.
Thank you.
I go 3.5 out of 5. Good, not great, nothing exceptional. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed the film. This is just the overall review. I did enjoy the film. There were moments of the film I was just like, that's so cool. But, I did have some issues with it. I feel like the pace of the film actually may have hurt the film a little bit. It is just breakneck pace from start to finish. It is so good. It hurts the film to the point where it's just like, I don't think we get enough Doctor Strange at some points. So yeah, I go 3.5 out of 5. I still enjoyed it. I would still watch it again. Personally, at this moment in time, I am more of a fan of the first Doctor Strange movie. But I think last thing I'll say is, as it goes through, the film does get more Sam Raimi, and that's really where the film starts to get better and better and better. It's just I just had some problems, and we'll get into it, but that's my overall review, 3.5 out of 5. Ed, give me your out of 5.
I am pretty close to that. I would actually put it a little bit less. I would do 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5.
Damn.
Look, I want to preface my review a little bit with the fact that I do think it's a good movie. It's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. There's a quality here that's brought by Sam Raimi that is unfound in most MCU films, particularly visually and just artistically, with some of the horror choices that were made. Right. Phenomenal. However,
completely agree.
However, I have to say that I was disappointed ultimately as a Marvel fan, like as an MCU fan. I think anybody who is casually viewing this, who generally likes the MCU just to watch it, are going to have a perfectly fine time. But as someone who invests a lot of their time into MCU and their money and their all their mental state, it disappointed me. It definitely disappointed me, and mostly from its story. I really thought the story was very messy. It was muddled, and particularly the character arcs are things that I was not super happy with. I don't think Steven was given that great of a struggle to deal with. It seemed to be centered around him really just languaging on the fact that he doesn't have a life with Christine, more or less, and I just didn't think that was strong enough. And then Wanda, who I think Elizabeth Olsen was phenomenal, not bashing her in any way. She was probably one of the best parts of the movie. Her story I thought wrapped up a little wonky. I just wasn't really down with the Darkhold manipulating her. It was like more of the Darkhold stuff than anything for her. And they kind of stripped off a lot of the things that I felt that WandaVision built up beautifully on an emotional level and with Vision. I just thought they kind of dropped that on the floor in favor of making Elizabeth sort of this this force to be reckoned with, Scarlet Witch in the MCU, which I don't hate either. Like that makes sense, but I just wish there was a little something in between to tie all that together. Yeah. Anyways, so that's my quick review of the film. Yes. I was disappointed, but it's still a good movie.
Yes,
and I definitely
agree.
like Doctor Strange 1 more for sure. That's overall a better movie for sure.
Oh yeah. So where do we want to start? Do we want to do we want to go first the highs, maybe the very big things that happened?
Maybe we should talk about the very big things that happened.
Let's start there.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Everybody wants to talk about.
Yeah, it's what everyone like. Spoiler alert for those still listening. If you haven't watched the film, go watch it in the biggest theater possible because it is a visual spectacle. I think we can both agree on that. But oh boy, the Illuminati, the full lineup was revealed. Obviously, we both feel the trailers kind of revealed a little too much, but that is what it is. But they kept the biggest gun secret, and that was John Krasinski as Reed Richards. He's there. He's introduced as the smartest man alive, and he comes through this really cool portal thing, and you're just like, oh, damn. My theater went crazy. Actually, it wasn't really crazy. It was like this audible gasp from everyone because I don't think anyone actually believed. I said last episode, I don't think they're going to pull off John Krasinski. I don't think they're going to be able to get him. Yeah. And there he was. Pretty damn amazing. Ed, what did you think of it? I lost it. I thought it was so cool.
Not only me, but in my second screening particularly, which was more of like the general audience screening, and the fan. No, I would say that it's the heavy fans. What am I talking about? No, it was the heavy fans. 3 p.m. on a Thursday. Get the fuck out of here! All MCU fans who are risking work, to watch
risking. Hey, I'm sick. I gotta go.
Huge uproar. I mean, just easily the loudest one of the movie. Very comparable to how people reacted to seeing, Toby. Andrew and Toby. Loud as shit. I couldn't hear a damn word for the next 30 seconds. Huge uproar. I was going crazy. It's like, well, it's one of those things where, one, everybody loves John Krasinski, and two, again, Marvel is listening to their fans, which is just, that's not something you get a lot from these studios. And this is almost a different level of fan service in the sense that like you're getting tangible feedback from your biggest IP, your favorite thing in the world. Like that's crazy. Yeah. And dude, imagine that guy who initially, I don't know how many years ago this was already. I'm sure we can find it, but there's a picture, there was a rendering by an artist.
Oh, yes.
John Krasinski with the Fantastic Four outfit, just as a fan thing, nothing ever said before. Imagine how crazy that guy must be flipping his shit out right now. I mean, that thing is now worth probably, that single photo is probably, what do you call it? What's the new thing that they call
NFT.
NFT. That's a fucking NFT right there. Worth
probably is,
jillions.
That moment was great. And like, you nailed it on the head, dude. They are listening to their fans. Yeah. Like when people saw that photo, it went viral and people were like, yes, make this happen. Make Emily Blunt his wife, make her Sue Storm.
It has to happen.
You feel like it has to happen. Yes. I thought this was a great intro to the way he speaks. Like he does come off as this like very smart, well-intentioned, well-informed person that you're just like, oh man, this dude is so cool, and I cannot wait to see him. Yeah.
Humble. He has like this humbleness about him, right? Like
yes.
He's not around like he's the smart. He's like the antithesis to
Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Tony knows he's the smartest person in the room. Now, I do get a little sad thinking that I won't see Robert Downey Jr. and John Krasinski on screen together because maybe not. I mean, the multiverse is now open.
Never know.
America Chavez does know how to travel through it now, so maybe we do get it eventually. But anyway, so that's just the first part of the craziness, right, Ed? We also get Anson Mount back as Black Bolt. Black Bolt from the very infamous, very bad Inhuman series on ABC. I don't know who watched that show.
I don't know what's worse, Iron Fist or that. Both have had.
I think Inhumans was way worse.
I think Inhumans was worse. Just because at least Iron Fist was in people's mouths. No one watched Inhumans.
Exactly.
Did you watch Inhumans? I don't watch Inhumans.
I
Yeah,
never saw a minute of it.
no.
I know.
Not a fan.
No, not yeah. But he comes back and he's playing back Black Bolt. He's in the full outfit.
Look dope.
And I won't like we. I don't know how you feel, but I was like, yo, this guy's pretty cool. I kind of want to see more from him.
I loved him. This is where I feel, again, the casting department is just like sticking to their guns, right? It's like, okay, fine. Some IPs don't work out, but that doesn't mean that the people playing these characters need to be pushed to the side, It's like, keep them in, because consistency, it's paying off. Consistency is paying off for them rather than switching out characters like another franchise we know that is kind of doing that. Just take them out. If it doesn't work out with the first one, then we'll take them off screen or keep with them, and it's working great. He did a great job. He
was very cool. And then we'll break down what happens to the Illuminati in just a second, but let's go through the full lineup. We also get Captain Carter from What If, the first Avenger. Haley Atwell is back to reprise her role as that. She was amazing. I thought she was great.
I've always loved Haley Atwell. I watched short-lived, but Peggy Carter, that series is great.
Very
I don't know
underrated.
if you watched it. It's good.
Yeah.
And it sadly only lasts like 2 seasons, but she's awesome. She's a great actress. And we sort of don't get too much of her for the rest of the in the MCU, sadly, because it makes sense. Like time-wise, that doesn't work.
Right.
But to see her back after all these years, how like she's now like a main character again.
Right.
After all these years, like that's so cool. And I liked how they didn't make her like seem too kind of butch and buff they did in the What If series. This looks natural. Yeah. And come on, tell me you didn't love that line. Even though it belonged, even though we see that line belonging to Chris Evans, she played that great.
Yeah,
right?
and it was just such like it was so much different. It was almost, dare I say, manlier than the way Chris Evans does it. Because she's over here, she spits out this like massive chunk of blood, and she goes, "I can do this all day," and her mouth's all bloodied, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
She brought a cockiness to it that Chris does, because he's humble, right? He doesn't say it for that, but she was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna I got an attitude," and it's playful, and I love that. I love how they had it wasn't a straight direct copy of. Yeah,
that was great. I really loved how she portrayed it. That's a brilliant point about her bringing a cockiness to the character, because she has to be different, right? Because again, you're gonna get compared to Chris Evans.
Yes.
That's a brilliant point.
It's totally in line with her character. She is the Peggy. She felt exactly like the Peggy Carter that we met in that movie, and she looked great. It's a testament to like can the MCU survive past the big players the iconic players that we've known. I think she does a great job. I'm happy to see her back. But let's move on to someone perhaps who
the final member of the Illuminati, right?
Oh well, no,
well, one of the final members,
we technically have two more. Yeah, right. But okay. I want to go this one in terms of reaction, because oh boy, was this cold. The next member is Captain Marvel, played by Maria Rambeau. So
Lashana Lynch, right? That's her name in real life.
This was Brie Larson's buddy in the first movie. She ends up being the Captain Marvel of this universe. And I'm gonna tell you, man, I've never experienced this in the theater, where you have uproar after uproar after uproar, and then just awkward silence. Right. Just no one, not even a whoop, not even like the arbitrary like woo, like no one even wanted to say anything about this, and it kind of hurt. What happened in Mercy with that?
My theater was the same. And there was a massive uproar because it was Haley Atwell. You see her, and then you see Captain Marvel, and it was kind of just silence. It wasn't anything. And this brings up a good point. You mentioned just a few seconds ago, the Marvel casting gets it right all the time. And look, Anson Mount came back and he got a big roar, and the way he was portrayed was fantastic. I just think that Marvel has a lot of rehab to do with these Captain Marvel characters, because I just don't think it left a good reaction with the audience.
It's interesting.
I don't know. It was weird.
Because that movie, if you remember, made $1 billion. It
did.
fucking crushed. It crushed.
So crushed, dude.
Why is it now? There's this awkward. I mean, honestly, even in Endgame, like it was awkward when Brie Larson was on screen, man.
There wasn't a big reaction to Brie Larson.
And here, even more so, like nobody cared. Like nobody cared. And it was even more awkward. It wasn't like it was even funny. People just didn't almost want to say anything. And I have no comment. I don't exactly know why. I really don't.
I don't know why either. And I want to apologize. There's people doing construction outside my office, our podcast studio, if you will. So I apologize for the extra noise in this episode. Just deal with it. I'm so sorry. Anyway, it's really weird to me that they just don't. I don't know. I don't know how people feel about the characters. Like when Captain Marvel fights Thanos in Endgame, I don't remember a scream. I don't remember anything. I'm just kind of like, oh, and Captain Marvel, it's certified fresh at 79%, but it's got a 45% audience score, which, look, there's going to be a chunk of that.
Does it really?
Yeah, there's going to be a chunk of those people that are just trolls that are going to hate no matter what. Like, there's nothing you can do about it.
I didn't even know it had a horrible. Oh, we know. Yeah, dude, there was that whole thing about Rotten Tomatoes and
remember we were there and they were like
review bombing. Oh,
yeah, there was like
about that. You're right.
I think they thought about pulling because of Captain Marvel. You now have to watch the movie before you can review it on Rotten Tomatoes.
Right.
So like
exactly,
it's like verified through Fandango now. Like that's what Captain Marvel did.
Thank you, Captain Marvel.
But yeah, which it should be, right? But yeah, I don't know what it was about it. I thought her character was fine. I don't mind the way she portrayed her. I would like to see her more of her character, maybe. But like, I just don't know. It was weird that the reaction wasn't there for her.
I think this goes back to that movie, and I think particularly for us who we didn't love that movie. I actually think it's probably the worst MCU movie, or at least definitely one of like the bottom three.
I would agree.
They just simply, aside from Brie Larson, they just didn't give us a compelling character. It was one of the the characters that just didn't fill in its shoes, and I think we were all just kind of left confused as to who is this character, and what we didn't. I don't particularly feel like we liked her as a heroine. She came off as very cocky. She came off as very not really knowing what she's doing, and so I think that's what it is. I don't think it's because we necessarily hate the character. We just have nothing to cheer for about that character, sadly.
Right, yeah. Nothing to cheer for yet. But like, I brought up the point about, the great casting and the direction. Like, Inhumans was terrible and nobody pretty much critically and widely panned by everyone, right?
That's true. True.
You bring back this guy and you give him in the hands of Sam Raimi in the guided hands now, and he's amazing.
Yeah.
In Black Bolt. So maybe with Captain Marvel 2, or it's not Captain Marvel, the Marvels is what it's called. With the extra characters now thrown in, it will be something that's much better.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you that the Marvels is uphill battle right now. I
think it is an uphill battle.
Very awkward positions.
Yeah.
We also don't know what exactly it's about yet.
No, not yet. No.
Like, why is it? How many Marvels are there? Why is it that it feels like it's not a Captain Marvel movie anymore?
Yeah, I don't know why you're throwing 3 characters into it now.
Yeah, and they've not. I mean, Brie Larson herself hasn't really posted anything about it. Hasn't really championed it.
Weird.
It's a weird movie.
Right.
And it's coming fairly soon. So
yeah, next summer. So which, it seems like a long time away, but it'll be here before you know it.
The marketing for that's gonna be pretty interesting. I want to see.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting.
I would start early with it. If you got great things to show, start early, start hard. It's not Thor. It's not Doctor Strange. It's not going to carry on its own feet. Anyway, so that was another member of the Illuminati. Yeah, where we just got the awkward pause, and you're just kind of like, wait, should we be excited?
Yeah.
And then the final member. Well, we have to count Mordo.
Well, there's Mordo, but
everyone knew he was there. So
he's great. I love him, but
he's great. He's great. He's great. Anyway,
he's great.
We have the very, very amazing reveal of Patrick Stewart back as Professor X.
My God,
and
dude.
you have to love, as he's coming out in his wheelchair, just a little small orchestral notes going off by the strings.
The song of the
da 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 Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. As he's coming out, you're just like, oh.
Here's the thing: is that I don't even think I heard that in the first screening I had because again it's a bunch of critics, so it was loud, but you could hear it. This one, I'm pretty sure nobody even heard the score because people were going bonkers. They were going bonkers.
That's why I get so angry at that because that's a little thing that you get to hear, like da 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 da. It's so good, man.
And the yellow banana colored hair is, oh my goodness, dude. Like it was, dude, this is like 90, like childhood, literal childhood coming at you.
Yeah.
It's like seeing Power Rangers, the movie, kind of, for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it had the slick, the similar look of the
Yeah, no, it was
like, this is real.
It was incredibly cool. Yes. And then the final member to get introduced was John Krasinski.
Yeah, but
he gets introduced as the smartest member alive, and then he comes through a portal, and you're just like, oh, fucking, they did! I can't believe they pulled this off.
It's so cool.
They kept most of it secret.
Yeah, but it was obviously the cherry of the movie. It's it's what you go to see, and it was great. I had a good time. Just to talk shortly though about one of my frustrations about the Illuminati scene.
Yes,
is the marketing, right? Why did you have to show? Why did you? Right. The voice of Patrick Stewart was enough.
Yeah,
it was, I think, more than enough. But apparently, someone on the marketing team over at Marvel, at Disney, didn't think it was, and it wasn't because Kevin Feige himself at the red carpet gave a little bit of a jab to the marketing team, saying like, "Yeah, the trailers." Gave a little off too much. I probably would have done so. He didn't harpoon him, but
which is very interesting, right? Because you look at the marketing for No Way Home, and they kept those two guys secret. Like don't see, they kept those guys secret all the way up until the home marketing. That's when it got revealed.
And we even thought they were gonna give something, but no, they gave nothing.
Right. And all the articles said that, obviously this is all rumors, we don't actually know. All the articles said that Kevin Feige fought with Sony to have control of the marketing for No Way Home. And it's just weird that, they revealed the Captain Carter shield, so you knew she was going to be in it. Yeah. They revealed, by saying the Illuminati. You don't even need to say that. Just have Patrick Stewart's voice, and that's all you need. You're right.
The word Illuminati was more puzzling, considering that it's like, who are you going after? If you thought you were going after the comic book crowd, they already knew it. So if you're who is it for? The general audience? Nobody knew what the fuck the Illuminati was.
Right.
Why did you have to show? Why was that a choice? So okay, that's puzzling. That was more puzzling to me than showing Charles. But the fact that they showed Charles it's like. To had just seen that purely on screen for the first time would have been nice, but
it would have. I completely agree, dude. I think it would have been perfect, but say like
and again, this led us to think that perhaps those were low level guns. They were going to show us more, and then there was also another article about one of the producers saying we had double more than Endgame and No Way Home combined. That's probably true, but also on a low, it wasn't at the level we were thinking. And so all these little things kind of led up to me, expecting way more. And so I was very disappointed that was it. That was the biggest thing. John Krasinski being a little bit step up, but that was it. That was basically it. Anyway, so that frustrated me. I'm not sure if it will frustrate the general audience, but were you frustrated? You liked it, but were you frustrated by that?
I liked it, but I was a little frustrated that was it. I do think that if we're going to get into disappointments about the film, I don't think it lived up to the Madness title.
No.
I was expecting more worlds, more multiverses, not just basically they jumped to just one multiverse and that's where the story is. Yeah. It was, from that standpoint, it was a little disappointing. I think Marvel let hype get away from them. They let the leaks get away from them. They let the rumors get too far out there. And look, the rumors and the leaks for Endgame were out of this world, but it lived up to it.
Yes.
Because it's still most of the leaks and rumors for that movie didn't come true, but it didn't matter because the movie was still so good.
Right.
This one doesn't as much, you know? It's not as
I mean, that's the thing is that it kind of it almost the movie up to that part almost feels like it was just kind of made for that part on a narrative level. It just felt so fan servicey at the end of it all.
Yeah.
And yeah, I okay. Well, at least we can agree that it was frustrating.
Yeah, it was frustrating. Absolutely.
Here's another frustrating. Here's something that I also still had a frustrating part. Was frustration with. And it still goes with the Illuminati. Let's talk about the ensuing fight with Wanda, where the entire Illuminati basically goes up against Wanda, and I can't even call it an ass whooping. They just died. They just got slaughtered. It was nothing for Wanda. And so we get to see the Black Bolt moment where Wanda, what does she say? She's like,
"What mouth?
What mouth?" What a line and what a reveal. So Black Bolt gets like his mouth covered and then he blows his brains out.
Yeah, I mean,
great
literally.
Moment. Yeah, literally.
That was a great moment.
And then, of course, John Krasinski goes next, gets paper shredded into infinity.
Yeah, paper shredded. That's a great way. That's a fantastic.
I assume that's what that was.
It looks like they run him through a paper shredder because, and then it gets to his brain and
boop, dead.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the ladies get a extended fight, which was awesome. But then it leads to Captain Carter getting decapitated. Is that a head?
No, cut in half. I think is the word.
Cut in half. Yeah. By her own shield. Jesus Christ. And then Monica Rambeau gets crushed by a statue. No holds bar. Fair to say in this whole thing. Very Sam Raimi. I get why they did it. Oh, and then of course Charles Xavier. Yeah. This is the third time Charles dies on screen.
Third time. Yeah.
As the third time he gets his head snapped.
I do think this is the final time we'll see.
I really hope so.
Patrick Stewart he's old. It's time.
This is okay. Okay, I agree with you, and this is part of my frustration with the whole. Okay, the concept in of itself it works with Sam Raimi. I think it's brilliant. But it also
feels like a waste.
It feels like a waste. I know we're going to see the rest of them later, but then you just think of the whole thing as kind of like a gag. It kind of just plays off as a gag. Why couldn't they just have at least left Patrick Stewart alive? Why did they all have to die? And why did he have to die in such like a?
Here's what I wanted, and here's what I think could have saved that scene. Because I agree with you. It does feel like a waste a little bit. I mean, the scene is absolutely fantastic the way it's done.
Again, conceptually, yes, it was great. I liked it. Yes.
But I would have loved to seen like a post-credit scene instead of the silly Bruce Campbell one.
Yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, instead of the silly Bruce Campbell one. I would have loved to see in a second scene where somebody, a hero from that universe, maybe even you see Mordo, right?
Yes.
You see Mordo from that universe. Yeah. Walking through the ruins of what the hell just happened. And he makes a mysterious call and says, we need to regroup now.
Yeah.
And that mysterious call can be an Iron Man variant. It could be another Captain America variant, somewhere else. Because clearly this movie is hinting at a much bigger thing. Like the whole movie, they say incursion about 750 times in the goddamn movie.
Yeah.
They're clearly hinting at, I think, Secret Wars as the next big Avengers.
Yeah, because that's exactly what incursion comes from, in a sense.
Yeah. And I think it would have done a lot to save that scene and make that scene mean a lot more if there was some sort of reckoning or reconciliation with among the heroes of that universe, the Mordo living and whoever else you wanted to throw in there. Like, make it fucking Hugh Jackman walk through.
It had no weight. It had no weight to it. It just felt like a cheap gag to do, rather than it actually having some sort of actual consequences or
make it
hinting.
Make it the X-Men. You want to introduce the X-Men? Have Hugh Jackman, Storm, Rogue walk down this place and go, what the hell happened here?
Right.
And Mordo walk up and said, we need to talk. Or we need to prepare for war.
That's what we talked about beforehand thinking like we even theorized like we got to see another X-Men. We got to see a Fantastic Four. Like this is again, overall we thought this movie was going to be the impetus, the jump off point for the multiverse and everything that was going to happen, but it ended up not being that movie. Right. It's just not like, and that's the disappointing part is like, it's not that movie. Right. And okay, fine. But also like, it felt like it should have been, it felt like it was going to be, you guys made it seem like it was. And that's what's disappointing. Also in that sense, I actually think that this movie would have played better before No Way Home. Like, I think I would have accepted it more if it was the first time that the multiverse was sort of being introduced. I could give it some of its leeway, being like, okay, yeah, it's a tease. But we got the tease in No Way Home. We even have the tease in Loki. We have a lot. We're being teased a lot already.
Yes.
So the fact that it feels out of place almost, and it seems like maybe they tried to do their best to, because they would have to. Here's the thing: they would have had to reshoot basically the entire movie for this to for it to had been that the movie we wanted it to be. Yeah. But they must have shot a bunch of it before that, and so there was just no way. There was just no way.
Remember, we've said this before. This movie was slated to come out before No Way Home. They had to push it back because of COVID and COVID delays. And I mean, I think they pushed it back another 3 months or so, essentially because they, basically because they wanted to, capitalize on the box office. It was going to come out in March, but March was really the month for the Batman, so it they couldn't put it there. So this is why they moved it here. But yeah, I completely agree with you, man. And I think it's a really good point. It would have been a better sell for the MCU before No Way Home.
Yes.
And then No Way Home shows you more of the multiverse, and again, this show was supposed to be buttoned right up against Loki. Right. This movie was supposed to be buttoned, like Loki was going to end, and then you see the multiverse open up in this movie. So, actually, I'm wrong. This movie was supposed to be right in between WandaVision and Loki. So this would have fed to Loki.
To Loki.
Which would have really, really kind of expanded the universe. So when you look at it like that, I think the movie in that placement works a lot better. Because you have WandaVision, Wanda breaking bad, essentially. Then you have Wanda going full bad. Then you get the multiverse opening. Yeah. Yes. You get the multiverse opening and him saying, hey, you started an incursion. And then you see Loki in the events of Loki, and you see the multiverse breaking, and you're just, and then you see.
Exactly. You're right. See, it goes to it crushes my heart because it's clear that's what their intention was.
That's the plan. Yes.
Yeah, because this basically tells you the multiverse exists, but then Loki's like, oh shit, it's broken open. Yeah.
It's much bigger than you think.
And then we have No Way Home. Fuck. God, that would have been so,
Then you have No Way Home, and then you have whatever is next, right?
Damn it. So, they had it in the bag originally, but things happen.
I think, originally it was going to work in the way it did, but hey, but with all that said, this is Marvel, and it was still a good movie, but like, this is something you have to account for. You have to recalculate it. You have to make it mean more. I think the best thing they could have done is reshot the Illuminati scene to be less of a gag and have more weight. Again, even just keep Reed and Charles alive, just so that we know there's a prospect. Like this is where it starts, rather than kill them both off in such a weird, kind of play jokey way. Yeah, like I said, I think if you have that post-credit scene where you have the X-Men,
I love that idea,
the Iron Man variant, or anyone else, or another, like a member of the Fantastic Four, Emily Blunt, walking down saying, "What the hell happened here?"
Imagine, I'm thinking about it now. What would have been cool is if we found out that Charles played an illusion on Wanda for the whole thing. That'd have been cool. Like, they didn't really die, but they just come back. That'd have been really cool.
Yeah.
That he's still technically.
Them saying, I can't believe that worked. And then they're like, we got to prepare for war now.
Exactly. Because like they should know that their survival is more paramount than actually technically kind of helping Strange in a sense, because they were already kind of iffy about it in the first place. I think it would have made more sense if they just like, look, we needed to save ourselves and just see how this played out, and then that way, Because I mean, fuck, it's fucking Charles Xavier. This is and the smartest man alive. Do not risk your life for
right. And then boom, gone. Yeah.
So okay, I guess we can agree. Again, goes back to the story and the writing. Could have been written better, probably. But
so that's the Illuminati gag in that thing, and you know that was kind of like a long thing, but that was probably the biggest like comic book oh fuck moment. But I mean, since we've talked about complaints, why don't we just keep going with them?
What's a little bit? All right.
I think you and I have the same big complaint. This felt an awful lot like actually the same two big complaints. This felt awfully like they pushed Strange to the side, and it was Wanda's movie, and you don't really have a reason or a story for Strange. So if you want to talk about that a little bit? Or?
Yeah, sure. Of course. No, I agree with you. I think Strange got shortchanged here in terms of, I mean, obviously not screen time. He's on screen for the whole freaking movie. Thank goodness they didn't cut away from him too much. But his story was just so shallow. Yeah. It's early on in the movie. We see that he attends Christine Palmer's wedding. We find out that she moved on after he blipped for 5 years. And we get the sense that, he wished he could have done more. He wished he could have been there. He regrets not being there more from the person that we find out more about their backstory. Like I didn't realize that they were going to get married, that she was the person who gave him the watch. Like their bond is extremely strong. And so, so him being sort of regretful and wanting to be with Christine is sort of his arc for the movie. It's his, that's it. And it kind of doesn't really have anything to do with the larger story. And that's what's really problematic with Strange in this movie, is that he doesn't have much weight for himself to carry here. And it doesn't flow through America's story, because her thing is that she doesn't control her powers. And it's like, okay, whatever, great. That's not to do with you.
She was a cool addition, but like cool. I mean, I get it. You put her in there so they could go through the multiverse. We get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he just becomes a tool to fix Wanda. But his personal story for this has nothing really to do with it all, and that's disappointing. Did you agree with that?
For me, the bigger problem is there's no resolution, right? Like he's he's like, oh, are you happy? Are you happy? Are you happy? And then like at the end of the movie, he kind of asks him, are you happy? And he like fakes it. He says, are you okay? And he goes, yeah, I'm fine. But it's pretty clear he fakes it. So like, I don't know if that was the intention, that he wasn't going to have a resolution in this movie. Obviously, because we see the third eye come up on him at the end and all that jazz. But like, there was no resolution. Like you would hope that you'd hope it'd be like a Spider-Man or Iron Man kind of thing where like, oh, I am happy doing this. I was meant to protect the world. Like when Parker sees MJ at the donut shop and he lets her go.
Awesome.
Like that's like a great moment, because that's what elevates that movie beyond the cameos, beyond the action, is that, oh shit, he understands now that he is happy the way it is. Like it's not perfect, but he's okay with it now. Like we don't get that with Strange in this movie at all. And you
get that in Doctor Strange 1, is why I think that movie does a really good job, because
you're right. Yes.
And it ties into it beautifully tied into the resolution for the action with Dormammu, right? Like that clever way they decided to deal with that with the
I'm here to bargain.
Dormammu, I'm here to bargain. It was great. I mean, that's not something you expected at all in the movie, and they went the extra mile to make you feel for Strange and actually have him have a resolution. You don't get that here at all. Like,
no,
sorry,
dude. Yeah, you're right. You don't. Like, and like you go back to Doctor Strange 1 where he has that scene where when the Ancient One dies and he comes to grips with, I need to be this Doctor Strange. This is what I'm meant to do. And he's crying in the mirror, and the cape like wipes it off. Yeah. Like that part's great, and you don't get that here. And really, no, you don't. I think that's part of the problem I have with the pace, is that it's just you're at this neck breaking pace the whole time, that there is no time for
there's no room to breathe. Yeah, for him to breathe. Yeah.
And like, I will sit here and I will defend Infinity War over Endgame any day, because people say, oh, Infinity War is too fast paced. I loved Infinity War and the pace of Infinity War.
I agree.
It's my favorite Avengers movie of all time. It'll always be better than Endgame in my opinion. But it doesn't work. It is too fast paced. There is no time to breathe. There is no development of character.
No.
So that's how I feel about it. So I do agree.
I tell you, it was one of the more disappointing facets about it. I will say though, and we talked about this before, he had a great resolution line with Christine, that panty dropping line that I love you in every universe. I mean, and Benedict plays that moment so well.
Yeah.
So I just wish there was more to that. Like that could have really hit hard.
Yeah.
If they just went in on it. And you made a good point about this, because I think the good resolution for it was to just write in more scenes where like he is tempted by the Darkhold to be with Christine.
Yeah.
But you made the point that that is What If episode 4 basically.
Exactly.
But at the same time, it's like, well, then we'll just do it. Just do it again, because like again, you have an empty story for Strange, and they chose that way. And I guess maybe it was too bloated. I don't know. This movie was also technically supposed to be 30 more minutes longer.
Yeah.
Before reshoots and needing to clean it up from
Rami said he cut out a bunch of stuff. So
maybe there was more. It's sad that maybe they had to cut that out, but that really would have helped, because
it's strange to me. It is weird to me that they did cut that out, because like, look, a typical runtime for these Marvel movies is 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
and we've all come to just be fine with it. And it's weird to me to cut that out, because I don't know what they cut out. I don't know if it would have been more of that. But I
like to trust them that it would make. The truth is that typically editing does make a better movie, because
correct.
Typically it does. Typically,
yes.
So I like, and the people behind the scenes here, I think are the best. So I assume that they made the right choice.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But we wanted more. We love our boy, and we just wanted more from him. We just wanted more from him.
What other problems did you have with the film? Because I had another big one, but I think you have it too. So you go.
I do, and it has similarly to do with the story and the character arcs, and that was with Wanda. I really, really didn't like. First of all, again, I said earlier, and I'm sure you can attest to this too. Elizabeth Olsen, fucking phenomenal.
She's fantastic.
Wow, she's great, and Sam Raimi really makes use of her situation and how she is to really become the Scarlet Witch in this movie.
Yeah, the mother aspect she plays is really good, and it's like really strong. It's to the point where she's like a scary mom. Like, she's like,
you don't fuck with her.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I mean,
she's ready.
To repeat what you have always say, almost in every episode, it seems, Marvel's casting department deserves some sort of Oscar. But
they really do. But anyway, so she's phenomenal. That being said, her story is a little muddled too, because let's start at the beginning. At the end of WandaVision, we get the sense that maybe she understood what she did. It wasn't right, but we understood that okay, she still is gonna go for this though. She still wants her kid, so she has the Darkhold. We get that at the end of WandaVision. That's fine. At the beginning of the movie, she is from frame one. We realize that she's not Wanda anymore. She's Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
and you're kind of whiplashed from that, right?
Yeah,
like you go,
it's very sudden.
That's what I thought they were gonna have Wanda switch a little bit, maybe after the end of the first act or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened. She's just straight up Scarlet Witch, and I was like, okay, that's a little sudden. That being said, her turn's awesome, so let's see where this goes. For the rest,
it was pretty cool when she revealed what like everything you're doing, and then Strange immediately knew. He was like, "Oh, I fucked up."
Yeah. No, see, that moment's great. Like, I wouldn't take out any of the moments. It's just I wish there was a little more build up to that than like, oh shit. Because like you said too, if you didn't watch WandaVision, you're gonna be lost as fuck. You're gonna be hit in the face.
If you haven't watched WandaVision, you're gonna be like, wait a minute, she's bad now? What the fuck happened? Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Keep going.
A little more of that. And so the rest of the movie, they basically try to insinuate that it's the Darkhold that has taken over Wanda. Basically fully, like almost to the point where it's like, are we absolving Wanda
again
of everything that she had done and what she wants to do? I think that was wrong on both accounts for her character. I think that was not a good thing to do, because one, it completely gets rid of everything that was built up in WandaVision to make her to make her have a human story of like, wanting children, wanting love,
right,
having grief, wanting to happiness for herself, I thought was a perfectly fine explanation and motivation to do everything she was doing. And that if the Darkhold allowed her to enable her to do that, that was also enough too. But by the end of the movie, she kills herself, whatever, at the end of the film, and gets rid of all the Darkholds. And before she does that, she says the line. She says it to Strange and almost to camera. I will not allow the Darkhold to enchant anybody else ever again, or some shit. And I'm like, that sounds like you're pushing blame, Wanda.
Yeah,
like you're not taking responsibility for the fact you wanted this. Are you? That was cheap, and that, I mean, again, we've been waiting for this for years, and that was not a good resolution to me.
Right. I would
more.
I would completely agree. And look, they let her off the hook again.
They let her off the hook.
Look, you get that terrible line from a fantastic show in WandaVision where they'll never know what you sacrificed for them. But it's like, listen. All these heroes have sacrificed everything. Like, look at the life and the grief that Captain America had to go through. Look how in Endgame you really get the feel of how unhappy he really is. Look at how unhappy Black Widow is. So like, sure, they'll never know what you had to give up, but all these heroes have given up a lot for all these people. Tony Stark gave up his life with his daughter to give life back to everyone, to billions of people across the universe. So you can't just say that line and just be like, oh, it's okay, you're absolved of your problems. And then here, again, she kind of just gets away with it in this like crazy way, because she has that line at the beginning of the movie where it goes, you break the rules, you're great line. Applauded for it. I break the rules and I'm a villain. And it's like, well, there's a big difference between what he did and what you're doing.
True. Yeah.
So yeah, I completely agree. They let her off the hook again. I mean, when she died, I don't think she's dead.
I don't think she's dead. Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen. Elizabeth Olsen. She's
that little like
her
red fart cloud though. So
yeah, whatever that was.
Whatever that means. Yeah.
Maybe she transported out of there somehow.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. And she's just hiding. So it was not my favorite arc. So I think like the two main characters of the movie, unfortunately, Doctor Strange had a lack of an arc and lack of anything, lack of resolution, and she just kind of got away with it.
Yeah, she had an arc, but the resolution to it was. And
we were talking about this earlier in the episode, but it does go back to, I think this was supposed to be right after WandaVision, and it would have made a lot more sense.
Correct.
But since it wasn't, you should have in the reshoots done just a tiny little bit more to build the character back up and remind you that she is now a villain.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Again, I'm sure COVID messed up a lot of things, and maybe they had better plans for it and they just didn't have time. But still, it's like they've had better arcs written for even minor stories, is all I'm saying. Like, I just feel like they could have done better a little bit, wrap that up more nicely.
I think
for these characters.
That's a good way of like both of us kind of encapsulating our problems with the film. The two main characters' arcs fell flat.
Yeah, and that seems to be kind of like what we really want from MCU movies at the end of the day. It's why we love the movies we love, is because they treat the characters. When they treat the characters properly, that's what really makes us love an MCU story. And when they don't, it falls flat. It just starts to feel like another superhero movie. And that really is the big difference, I think, for the ones
I agree, yeah. And then you look at No Way Home and you go, well, here's how you serve Peter Parker correctly in the multiverse. And then you look at this and you go, this feels very fan servicey at to a point, and you forgot about your two main characters.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. I mean, look, I'm gonna stick to my 3.5 out of 5. It was still a fun movie. It was a fine movie. And like I said, I think maybe we should go into things we liked about the movie, because we've talked about how much things we haven't liked.
let's go into one of the other main characters that I did like, and her arc wasn't exactly the the biggest one.
Yeah.
It wasn't the best either, but it serviced the plot just fine. And I think her performance was great. I'm talking, of course, about America Chavez, played by Sochi. I learned how to pronounce this yesterday.
It's Sochi. Wow.
Sochi Gomez. Yeah.
Wow.
What a way with letters.
Yeah. EXO.
They just went whatever with how to spell Sochi.
Interesting.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Maybe that's a Spanish thing or a Mexican thing. Sorry.
It is a Hispanic thing because the guy from Miguel from Cobra Kai, his name is spelled XOLO and it's Sholo.
Oh, see, okay, I didn't know. I learned a lot.
Sochi, yeah.
Sochi, so that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought America Chavez was great. What did you think of her?
Yeah, I loved her. I mean, I can already hear people yelling and complaining. Oh my God, she has 2 moms, blah, blah, blah. But like, I think, first of all, if you go look at the comics, oh my God, yes. I mean, just a really quick little tea on that. There's no winning anymore. There's never, if you change the character's origin, then everybody would be pissed about it. If you don't change the character origin, then other people are going to be pissed about it. So it's just like, chill. They're taking from the comics. Even Kevin Feige had a quote saying, "This is the comic book character.
Yeah, she has 2 moms.
We're not changing it." But I thought it was great. Like, I kind of want to know more about her world because apparently it's this like utopian world where there's peace and everything, and she kind of maybe messed it all up with her powers accidentally. Because that sounds like a great heartbreaking backstory. Like that's what a fucking hero is built out of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty hardcore origin story. Anyway, I think that she was great. I really don't have any problems with the character. She was like when she's mentioned Spider-Man shooting webs out of his butt. I couldn't stop laughing. I thought it was great. She brought a good amount of presence to the screen and carried herself really well. And I really thought that her and Doctor Strange's relationship worked really well. Like it was kind of cute by the end. I was like, wow, he's like a father figure to her.
Yeah, yeah. I thought that was really
yeah. When he's the zombie Strange, which was one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Oh yeah, the zombie Strange. That was great.
And he's like winking at her. Like I like that's the Sam Raimi silly comedy that'll make some people laugh, but other people not laugh because they won't get it. That really works for me. That made me like excel in the film.
No, I loved it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so I like the relationships. Her powers are cool. Obviously this is just the beginning because she's now at Carmitage. She's going to learn to become a sorceress. So yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes.
I was thinking this whole time, so if they had to make rewrites, I think what could have made both of their stories more compelling, particularly Strange, is look, in No Way Home, you had a kid fuck up badly.
Yeah.
And that should probably never, I would imagine he would never want to trust a young person ever again. So it would have been really cool if he carried that frustration or that what would you call it? Not trusting like a young kid to her. And so the whole movie is him being frustrated with her, but then learning to love her and learning that, and that could also be a gateway to how she unlocks her powers. Yeah. But again, rewrites. But that would have made, again, that in and of itself could have been a better story than what Strange.
Yeah, that would have been really great to watch, Strange say, last time I trusted a kid, he kind of broke the multiverse. Yeah.
You kind of miss that. Like he says it too. That was obviously a reshoot. But he says, I saved I helped save Spider-Man from the multiverse breaking, whatever. It would have made more sense if he was mad about it. Right. But he seemed like, whatever. So that would be nice.
Yeah. America Chavez, she was great. In other moments, another thing I really loved about the film is when Wanda attacks Carmitage. I thought that whole sequence was really cool.
Yeah.
The way he built, because it starts as like a pure action scene, and then it built into like a horror action scene where she's in people's heads and she says the words "run."
Dude, that moment is so good.
Yes.
Where she creepily goes around.
So she's just like right there. Like it's the perfect Sam Raimi thing, dude.
I heard an audible like from like
Yeah.
the audience, and that's what you look for from those
Yeah.
moments. And like, beautifully done, beautifully.
was-
The music cuts out.
Yes, the music exactly. The music cuts out, and it has that scary movie thing where it's just silence, and you're just for a second you're in your own head thinking, "Oh man, someone's gonna pop out of me. Someone's gonna pop out of me." Yeah. And it just works
Beautiful
really well.
moment. Beautiful. Moment.
And then like when they're trying to get America out of the place, and like this is where you see Scarlet Witch really, for the first time, show her power.
Yeah.
Like his sling ring disappears, she makes it disappear into thin air. They trap her in a mirror dimension, and no one's supposed to be able to get out of a mirror dimension. And then all of a sudden, she's using reflections to pull people down and kill them.
Yeah.
It was so well done.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Yeah,
Couldn't agree more.
that was one of the high points of the movie. But the best part of the movie for me, and then we'll get into yours, is the music scene. I was losing my mind. I was like, "This is okay." Go ahead.
You have to you. I'm going to ask you.
Okay.
You have to explain that scene to me. Why you feel that way about that scene? Because I think I missed some. I don't hate that scene by any means. In fact, I got the notion that they were obviously trying to do something fun here, something inventive, something that wasn't just going to divulge into like lightsaber whips, whipping back and forth.
Yeah.
So I liked it. At the same time, I'm not sure I get it. Like motivationally speaking, am I missing that like Strange likes music or what?
No, I don't think it's anything. I don't think it's anything like that. It's not. He hits the keys, and I agree. The reason I love it so much is because as you just hit at it, a lot of the stuff you see with Doctor Strange is just here's the shields and here's the whip. But this time we got to see him use something from the real world. He made music notes, and he took them and he turned them into weapons. And then not only to elevate the scene even more was the orchestral arrangement behind it. Yes. As things were getting thrown, orchestra hits were happening, and the music was all synced to it. It was just this like beautiful moment of cinematography and just, I thought, absolute creativity that I was like, I never thought I would see Doctor Strange use his powers like that. I was like, this is so freaking cool. He's using music. He took something that was, just something as simple as a keyboard push on a piano, and a piano key push on a note. He made a musical note a weapon, because that's what Doctor Strange can do. He can take anything and turn it into a weapon.
Okay,
and
got it.
That was so cool to me. I was like, more so than Reed Richards or anything like that. I was like, oh my god, this is fucking. I was losing my mind. I was like, I thought it was so cool.
It was tickling your creativity.
Yes, I was like, I would never have expected. I don't know whose idea that was, and I loved every single minute of that scene.
I think I have the same reaction. I get it. So that is the truth. Like it was more like it was a creative choice that you didn't expect.
That's the only reason I love it.
Okay, yeah. I love it for that same reason. I just got confused, I guess, because I wasn't sure. Because I was thinking like, does he like music or something? Like I thought there was a narrative purpose. What?
I don't think there is
music. I thought that's what it was, and then because then the other Strange then caught on to that, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I see what you're doing here. I'm gonna put up the bars for you to put your notes on."
Yes,
I like that. It's cute, but I also thought I was wondering if it actually meant something to them as characters. And so I guess if they just had maybe for me. I think maybe if they had just like kind of wrapped that in a little bit better, I would have been like, oh, cool. Like he's using, if he played the piano in the beginning of the movie or something, like that would make sense to me more.
You know what it gave me?
I get it though. I get it. Okay.
It gave me super Fantasia vibes.
Oh, okay.
The sorcerer with the blue hat controlling the band. Maybe it was like a Disney
blowing
thing.
My mind. You're blowing my mind right now. Like
it gave me those kind of vibes.
I think you're connecting the dots that they are that no one else.
I just loved the scene so much.
Great Disney reference. Yes.
It was my favorite part of the movie by far, which I mean, like I
love it. I love that.
I don't think anyone's going to take it away. Like obviously there's the Illuminati scene, but that part was just so cool to me.
You're making me appreciate it more than I was already appreciating it, so that's great. I think I'll like it more every time I see it now. Yeah, I just thought it was a little random, is all. It
is a random. Yes, you're right.
But at the same time, you're right though. I wasn't connecting the idea that Strange has to use what is available to him because he can't exactly fight. He can't bring the power against another sorcerer just by fist fighting, right? So he uses like the animals from different dimensions and whatever those things are, and he has to. They all have to use things around him. So, I give that one to you. That makes sense. That he's like, okay, I can use musical notes, and it makes it. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So, what are some of your favorite parts of the movie?
I liked it. Favorite parts. My favorite part of all time in the movie.
Wow.
I mean, I wouldn't call out any particular action scene as like they were good. I wouldn't say anything was particularly outstanding.
Amazing. Yeah, I would agree.
You're turning me on that scene though, because I think the creativity of it was again like the Dormammu fight, like that stuff. I love that, and it gives us something new. So I do like that. Honestly, man, the best part of the movie for me in general was the Sam Raimi stuff. Like every time, every camera move, again, that part, the creepy parts. I guess one of my favorite parts, honestly, is the moment that Scarlet or Wanda tries to dreamwalk into the 838, that whole sequence, and then the picture frame. When she looks at the picture frame and the fucking Wanda looks at her, I love that part so much.
Yes.
It's so scary. It's so creepy. And the fact that they did that practically is so good. Yeah. So I think they just really nailed the tone. I also just love the cinematography and the lighting of this film. I think it's for me, I think it's probably one of the best looking MCU films that they have out there, where they actually put effort. And it's a place where you see what a veteran director can really bring to an MCU film, because as you know, a lot of these newer directors, they use them because they have something to bring, and that's fine, but they're also a little more inexperienced. So Marvel does a lot of lifting when it comes to second unit direction, action, and cinematography. They're like, don't worry about that so much. We're okay if it looks like this. We're fine. And so largely I think they have to admit to that, because one, they don't have a lot of time to shoot. And again, they're a little more inexperienced. So they throw them some bones. But man, this movie, Sam Raimi has the same amount of time, I think, than any other directors had to make a film. But dude, did he bring it in those creative departments? Again, just the lighting, the color was so cool. The camera tilts, they were also done so wonderfully, and that really elevated the film for me as a standout entry. Since the story kind of failed me, but all of that I just thought was so beautiful and great, and just gave really truly made this an exceptional film. So that is my favorite part of the movie for sure.
As the story goes, as the movie goes, it feels more and more Sam Raimi. He was like stepping back into it. It feels like, and then as it goes, he gets more comfortable, and then it gets more Sam Raimi, and then it gets better, and it gets better. And like, like you said, where she's trying to dreamwalk into herself for the first time, it felt so Evil Dead with the way the camera's moving around the staircase, and then she looks over and she's like, "Oh shit!" And then through it,
the fisheye lens, kind of in person point of view on that. That was great.
You have the everything about it was so fun.
When Wanda looks into the camera, when she becomes that one, that's so Sam Raimi. That's so horror. Yeah. So I love that. What was that other? One of my other favorite moments of the film. Right when that first time we see Wanda, and she's dreamwalk. I mean, she's having a dream. And then it just cuts to her in bed. So heartbreaking. I found that moment so heartbreaking, because the music crescendos, and they're having this moment, and it cuts out, and she's in bed. It's just it's so heartbreaking. That actually got a good audible good audible gasp from the audience too. Yeah. It's moments like that that's like, Yeah, you don't get those in like some of the less, veteran directors in the MCU. This is someone who is in full control of his craft, his style, and just transmitting it to this IP. And he did it at the perfect moments. Like, I'm like, yeah, that's great. And then you mentioned one of your favorite parts was at the end where Defender Zombie Strange. I mean, again, what a beautiful way to make it so Sam Raimi, so fresh that we haven't seen, and using the freaking whatever those things, the demons as
dude,
yelling at Wanda, like that's full. Yeah. Like, it's a beautiful point you made. Like, it gets more and more Sam Raimi right to the end, and it's just
you see Strange at the bottom. You see Wong still climbing up, and when he sees Strange like hit those like those 4 or 3 monsters left over,
whatever those are,
whatever those were, you didn't really explain it. It doesn't matter. In the trailer you heard Strange, but in this one you hear his actual yell, Strange,
right?
Like, my buddy's back.
They tricked us on that one.
I thought that was great.
That was clever.
Yeah, when he gets up there, I think Wong and Strange have one of the best relationships in all the MCU.
Good. Yeah,
like just fantastic chemistry between the two. It really works well. But as like two best friends that kind of hate each other because one wants to be the Sorcerer Supreme and the other one isn't. And like he walks up there and he says, "I don't even want to know."
Yeah,
I thought that was great, man.
It's great because you picture that he's done that. He's done things like that so many times.
Yeah,
you just there's a rapport between them. Yeah. I agree. And
Uh-huh.
Wong, by the way, he was great in this movie. He got to exercise a little bit more dramatic moments too, and action, both, everything. They gave him a great. I mean, he doesn't really have a story arc, but his moments were awesome.
Right.
And then I'm glad he didn't die. We were suspecting that he
I thought he was gonna die. Yeah.
And he didn't. I'm glad. It's one of those things where if Wong's there forever, totally fine. But also, if he were to die, I would be crushed in the best way. Also, if they do it right.
Right.
But Benedict Wong is great. I really hope they keep him around, and he's just awesome. So
yeah.
Is there anything else about this movie? Well, what do you got?
I would have loved in that final scene. Obviously, it can't be this way because he doesn't remember who Peter Parker is. But if in that little bit of in that little bit of dialogue, he goes, "A kid had to give up everything for me recently to fix something recently. I'm not going to force you to give up your life. Just trust who you are." That would have even elevated the dialogue just a little bit more when he's talking to America.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
But
I'm sure that's just one of the scenes they just chose not to reshoot.
Right. Yeah. They're like, we fucking COVID ruined things. But
we're just gonna get a pizza place.
Yeah, dude. It was
reshoot the scene to cover up some cracks here. Pizza.
Yeah. Get some pizza and then we'll
I didn't realize how many pizza rereferences there were in this movie. Yeah, there was that one
pizza
scene,
things,
the pizza balls, and Bruce Campbell was the pizza. What's his name? Pizza
Papa.
Pizza Papa. Pizza Papa.
That's it. Yeah.
Bruce Campbell so much.
So do I, man. So overall, it was a good film. I think they overhyped the film in marketing.
Yeah.
I don't think the title should have been Multiverse of Madness.
It's a great title. I mean, I don't fault them for using it, but they should have just delivered on it more. Is all.
Yeah, maybe like I don't know, Doctor Strange versus the Scarlet Witch. Yeah, Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch. That's all it needed to be because that's all it was. I don't know. Overall, I was
Doctor Strange in the Scarlet Witch
and the Scarlet Witch.
Jesus Christ, dude, I was like,
Vision's coming for something. Better watch out, Doctor.
Night in Paris sequel. All right.
All right. So let's talk about the last thing on this movie, and that's the post-credit scene.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about the post-credit scene. Yes.
In my opinion, it's a little forgettable. Overall,
it's weird. It's awkward. Tonally, it's awkward.
Tonally, it's very strange. It just.
Well, let's for those who don't know, and if you're actually listening, I don't know why you would, but the mid-credit scene is that we get Charlize Theron as Clea Strange, apparently, or it's probably not. It's not Strange yet, but she ends up being Doctor Strange's wife later.
Eventually, she's the Sorceress Supreme. I don't know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Of the dark dimension.
Oh, she is. Oh, okay.
So, and they're very good allies, and they eventually get married. Yeah, I read up a little bit about the character after you said, Clea Strange.
So that's Charlize Theron in the MCU. That's great. Yeah. What did you think?
I don't know. It felt like she mailed in her performance. I don't know. It was
she was Charlize Theron, more or less. I mean,
Yeah, I was kind of like, I don't know. I feel like Charlize Theron is dropped in my mind in terms of acting because of the Fast films.
Yeah, Cypher's wow.
So like, I can't like, I don't know. I need to see more with her.
Yeah, it's not enough
to be engaged in the character at all. Like I was more engaged with Captain Carter than I was that. Absolutely. So her, sorry. And but like
it's be an introduction. What are you gonna
do? Yeah, it was weird, but we mentioned that they say this word incursion, and here he is, and then he has his third eye, which the third eye can mean a lot of things. We haven't mentioned Strange's third eye.
Oh yeah.
It can mean something. It can mean that he's breaking bad slowly, that he's taking on too much power too fast. It could also just mean that he has more skill sets now.
We don't know. I mean, well, because it's that was awkward too. Is that literally the previous scene is him screaming in agony, and then the third eye pops in. So you think that's bad, and then in this one he just pops out on like it's
like he's ready to go, like he has control of it.
Yeah. So what? I mean, who knows how much time has passed? But I mean, but all we know is that obviously that's the Darkhold is somewhat a part of him. That's what that means.
Right. Yeah. So he's like absorbed the Darkhold power.
Yeah. So what can he do? Yeah. So
so he's now even more powerful.
Yeah. Right. I think that was basically what they were trying to say. It's like this is him advancing as a sorcerer.
Exactly. I think that's probably it. A lot of people said, "Oh, will he break bad?" I just don't think he will.
No, I don't.
Benedict Cumberbatch is going to play this character for another 10 years. He said so, which is I'm very excited about. I think he's one of the best in a world of great castings. He's probably one of the best castings ever made.
I agree with you. I don't
love him as Doctor Strange.
I don't see anyone else at the moment playing him at all.
Which is why I think the movie fails us in that stretch. Like it fails Benedict Cumberbatch in what he can do. But yes, Clea says, "You started an incursion. You have to help me fix it." Something along those lines, and then cuts a literal hole that looked like they did it yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't great. It looked like they literally cut a green screen. And that's what that's what it was.
It looks like the dimension. It looks like the dark dimension that they're going to go to or do something.
It's definitely dark dimension.
It's exciting. Again, I think Marvel, and I want to make this point. It does feel like Marvel's got a lot in the air right now. Like
it does.
You have Moon Knight, Egyptian gods, and a bunch of shit happening there. You have Thor and his gods, plus Zeus and Hercules, the mythical gods.
You have Eternals.
You have the Guardians of the Galaxy. You have the Eternals.
You have whatever the fuck's going on in Shang-Chi and Dragons. Like
yes, that's like a mid-realm thing, right?
Yeah.
So like now you got this dark dimension. You now have the multiverse open. You got a lot of things being juggled here. So I need Marvel to start kind of connecting them and wrapping them together somehow, some way.
This is where I can only hope that Quantumania start. Like I'm begging for them to finally start this. It's getting to be a little too much. Like I don't know how much more of teasing the multiverse I can take, considering they've teased it so much already. Like let's go. Let's settle some grounds here as to what this is. What does this all mean for this phase? And considering they don't have an Avengers movie slated for phase 4.
No.
So I'm kind of a little worried that this may go on until phase 5. But I'm really wanting it to start now. It's going on for a little long. So but I don't know.
I mean, I get it. Part of it's, COVID and it getting delayed and everything. And I'm sure they had a plan. Like at this moment in time, I think we were supposed to, we're past Thor 4 at this point, and we're looking toward Black Panther 2 in July. Yeah. And then it's weird, but I think they need to start wrapping stuff up here. But this is yet another tease into a full multiversal kind of thing here, which again, we're just kind of putting our toes in the multiverse. We're not actually fully in it yet, which we thought this movie would give us, which is another disappointment. Marvel's got to start putting this together somehow, some way, really fast. Just because it's a lot. But I don't think With that said, I don't think we're getting an answer to this till February of 2023 when
No, I don't think so.
Ant-Man and the Wasp comes out.
I agree. I think that's the next time we're going to hear something big. Thor is obviously, I'm pretty sure, narratively speaking, that's not going to dive into the multiverse very heavily. Which I'm actually looking forward to that because I'd rather not be teased if you're not going to do this for another fucking year. Like,
pump the brakes on it. Yeah,
that's fine. But he has to be a part of the multiverse. So I think a post-credit scene or near the end, I'm sure something's going to connect. But I'm hoping they do. Yeah, I'm really hoping they don't make it part of the bigger thing, which I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
Like, again, I would have used the second credit scene, which is a Bruce Campbell scene, which is funny, but I don't need it. Yeah, but like, I would have used the second one to start teasing what's next.
Of course.
Like the Illuminati. Someone's gonna wonder who killed all the Illuminati in that world.
Right. Of course.
Like, there has to be something, right? And if you're going to introduce this world, is that 838 world the world that is the Secret Wars world that, starts the incursion or whatever the hell it is. So, interesting post-credit scene. Kind of weird, if we're honest.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah. It was awkward. I didn't, just whatever. Yeah. But it's good to know that, Marvel is still very much getting celebrity wish lists on fire here. Like
Charlize Theron.
We're gonna see some of the greatest actors in our lifetime be on screen in the MCU, and that's great. That's super exciting. They're not slowing down on that whatsoever. So good stuff.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Anyways, that's it for Multiverse of Madness. Okay, that was quite the talk. I don't think it could have been any shorter considering how much that film brought. But MCU fans, hopefully you're not as disappointed with the shortcomings of this film.
I think we're going to be okay. Yeah, I think
we're going to be fine. It gave us stuff, which is I can only be grateful for.
It currently sits at 89% on the audience score.
89.
It's getting a 4.5 out of 5 average.
Oh, interesting. Actually, 89 is a little bit lower than I expected too.
Wow, really?
From the audience. I thought it was a clear-cut 92 from the audience. Like, again, it's a perfectly enjoyable movie overall, right? I don't see anyone being bored of this movie. Like, my problems are nerdy narrative shit,
For me, I think, dude, it's more that, like, I just think that they overpromised. Like, people got maybe not even so much overpromised, maybe too much into the leaks. Maybe. Most of the leaks for No Way Home came true.
Yeah.
Here it's different.
Yeah.
None of no Tom Cruise, no Tobey Maguire. Yo, there was a lot of people that said Tobey Maguire will be in this movie, and he was not. Now look, he could have been cut. Would it have been amazing if that was the post-credit scene? Tobey walks into that Illuminati building and he's like, "Wait a minute, what the hell happened here?"
It would be so cool if he would have definitely had a different suit. He would have played a different
Toby than the one we met.
Yeah. He would play he'd play a different one. That'd been pretty sick to see. Yeah. Older one. I know.
Ooh,
yeah.
Marvel.
Well, it's gone now. It's fine.
Yeah. We can't hope of it. Yeah. Okay.
No, whatever. All right. Well, that's our Multiverse of Madness review and discussion. We hope you enjoyed that. But now it's time to move on to another Marvel. property. just it's Marvel every day, every fucking time. What are you gonna say? Moon Knight's finale. Let's give our thoughts on it, man. It's my favorite Disney Plus show, man. I think it's so good. I love it. That ending, one, I think it's the best ending out of any of the shitty ones we've had.
Yeah.
Is that arguably is that accurate to say? That was the best ending?
I think Loki still sticks the ending a little. I like the Loki ending a little bit better.
Okay.
Sylvie breaking the multiverse, the tease of what's coming up. But yes, it's top 2. Absolutely.
Okay. I thought they nailed it. I loved pretty much everything about it. I just thought but mind you, it was also the shortest. It was the shortest episode. So this dude wrapped it up in the shortest amount of time.
Yeah.
I love this director, Mohammed. I forget his last name, but Diop. Diop. Mohammed Diop.
Yeah.
Great guy. I want a Moon Knight movie, man. The gods fighting in the background as they're fighting. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
freaking Layla gets she's blue scarab or some
Scarlet Scarab, is that what it was?
Something.
I don't know. She was a Marvel hero that was once a guy, but like nobody gave a shit about the guy, and now she's cool as shit now.
I love that whole reveal, and that they got to fight alongside each other. Moon Knight, Jake Lockley. I just thought they did a great job of giving us a great, huge finale while still servicing Mark's story, and then setting us up for. Oh, again, hopefully season 2. I'm sure there's going to be a season 2. You don't introduce Jake Lockley without that.
Well, yeah. Interesting enough, Oscar Isaac said there are no plans for season 2. He says he has no plans to return for season 2. He has plans to return to the character, but not for season 2.
You know what? Whatever it is.
Mohammed Diop and Diop. Oh my gosh, I really hope we're pronouncing your name right. You are fantastic director, fantastic showrunner. So apologies if we're pronouncing your name wrong, but he said it would be a shame not to have a season 2. So they're saying like competing things at the moment. Look, Oscar Isaac can return for season 2. We know that, but like, will Marvel give this a season 2? Because I think this was an expensive show.
Yeah, it was definitely, but it showed, and I think it paid off. Love to see this, and I bet you if Oscar Isaac gets that Emmy, it's over. Season 2, I bet you they'll greenlight a season 3. I want a movie. They're not going to do a movie though. To be honest, the next time we're going to see him on screen, I bet you it's going to be with like Blade. It's going to be with everyone. I don't think it's going to be a solo. Oh, timeout.
I think they might. So remember, Marvel's doing that Werewolf by Night movie.
Don't get me excited. Okay.
That Werewolf by Night. Moon Knight is a big part of that movie because he's chasing after a werewolf. Now, again, this is another new thing being tossed into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with werewolves and Blade and other shit. So, but I think we might see him again, and it could be as soon as October this year.
Oh man, that's great. That's great.
But yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm saying I wouldn't mind a whole movie just on Moon Knight. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Like I'd be down, but I don't think that's what they're going for. I don't think so. They're gonna the next time we see him is gonna be with introducing that whole whatever that Knights of the whatever thing. I don't forget the name. Sorry, Marvel Knights. Sure,
Sons of Knights. Sons of I don't know.
But I would love a season 2 because that was a great season. Well, first of all, what did you think of the finale specifically?
I loved it. I thought it was great. It was I loved Layla's performance, and I loved that she got to be a superhero finally. I loved how Khonshu ended it, and they like bookended the series because the season. They are Marvel marketing is being very specific, saying this is the season finale, whereas everything else is the series finale. I loved how they bookended that, saying Mark Spector always thought I wanted Layla as my avatar. See, no, he doesn't get it. I don't want Layla as my avatar. I want Jake Lockley as my avatar. And Mark still has no idea how messed up he really is. I really liked the action scenes in it. I mean, like we finally got more than a 2-minute action scene, and it was so cool watching Layla fight with Mark and Steven.
And Steven, he was switching in between at will.
Yeah, the interchangeable stuff was so fucking cool. It was insanely cool. Yeah, it was insanely cool. Like he runs, and then when next time you see him in camera, like pretty much a straight cut, he's in the Mr. Knight suit. And in Mr. Knight suit, he's beating everybody ass. It gave me like Daredevil vibes. Yeah, it was so cool.
Being able to like see like whatever is more advantageous to them in the moment.
Yeah,
that's what they use. Oh my god! I mean, the potential for that is just again, insane. And it's pretty clear that Oscar and Mohammed thought this very well. I mean, it was part of their freaking 10 commandments for the show. We're going to ramp this up. We're not going to give everything all at once, and every episode we're going to give them something more. We're going to build each time.
Yeah,
and oh my god, it paid off really well. There was that part where he. Like Moon Knight, or I forget who gets kicked into the building, but he gets kicked into the building, and then he has like a freaking, like a Batman, what do you call it?
Like a batarang.
Yeah, whatever that shit is. I was like, holy shit, that's awesome.
That was cool. Yeah. The action scenes. More importantly, I did like Mark going back to get Steven because he dies in the last episode. I like that he finally accepts we're Mark Spector.
Yeah, we're
together.
One.
We make him. And he doesn't want to live a life without Steven. And you know, like it's really kind of poignant, I think, and it works really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
it also gives another. It makes you think about people with that disorder, or who you know, about loving yourself. It's a really poignant message about, like, maybe it torments you, but perhaps it's still you, and you should love yourself. Like, you shouldn't blame yourself for being a little different, because sometimes it's out of trauma. It's just something you need to do, and you should love yourself. I just thought that was great. I agree with you, and that's a superhero. It's a mentally it's a person who has a mental disability, basically, being a superhero. I think that's fucking awesome. I mean, what's more Kanye West than that?
Oh my god,
this is probably Kanye's favorite superhero right now.
Probably is. Yeah, dude. Yeah,
I told you the superpower.
Yeah, man. Like I thought it was a really great way to end it, and I hope there's more to come. Oscar Isaac, when Oscar Isaac puts Harrow in the Rolls Royce, and he's like, he kind of pushes the thing away, and then he kicks the wheelchair. I was like, should I be laughing that hard right now? Because this is really funny.
It's good. It's so good. That whole end scene is so good.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know what else to say. It was perfect. It was perfect. Yeah. And again, they keep building Khonshu. I love Khonshu because he's just this wild card. You don't know what the fuck to feel about him, but he's so cool. He's wearing a suit himself. He's wearing a suit, right? He's this cool guy, like, but he wants to do the right thing, I think, but he's doing some shady shit to get there.
You think. Yeah, you still, by the end of it, you still don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. Yeah. I mean, he stops Ahmet, and so he did the right thing, but what is his end game here exactly? And why is he being so, he's willing to kill, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. He's willing to kill.
Which is, are Khonshu and Jake Lockley completely in step? Like, does Khonshu have full control of Jake Lockley?
I think I think he has an agreement with Jake Lockley. I think Jake Lockley gets Khonshu. I think he's fully into it.
Yeah.
It just goes to show that Jake's been there the entire time.
Right.
And that Khonshu's been talking with him for God knows how long. And that's so intriguing to know, like that's been happening for years. I mean, just stuff like that. I mean, they only introduced that at the end in the post-credit scene. It opens everything up like so well. You can
start season 2 with a bang, with the part of the fight we don't get from the end
that's
sequence.
Exactly what I was thinking. That they would show the parts that we didn't see. Jake being there and Dick doing that. Yeah,
dude. I think it's
rock on, man. I'm so stoked. I couldn't love this. But I asked you if this was the best finale, and it's not for you, but is it the best series overall? Do you think it's the best series overall for Disney Plus so far?
Yeah, I would say it's probably the best series. I mean, it's really hard for me to put it above Loki, but I think I actually would.
Overall,
I think it's just a tad bit better than Loki, because you do get to see Oscar Isaac shine, and it did feel more self-contained and less about the MCU, because Loki did feel very much about MCU. Like this show not only is going to serve the purpose of showing off Tom Hiddleston, but it's going to show the purpose of Sylvie, and also what this means for the MCU wider. And like this show wasn't worried about that at all, and I think that's what made it great. That's what like elevated it to put it above Loki, in my opinion, because that's fun. And that's, it's nice. And we've talked about this, and I've talked about this with other friends. It's nice that this character can exist outside the MCU.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without any connection, because there is zero connections to him at the moment.
It isn't. Yeah. And it feels, so all of a sudden everything feels fresh again.
Right.
When it's not tied to that kind of stuff, and we can just enjoy a good story, but a great character. All right, well, that's our thoughts on Moon Knight finale. We're going to move on to the last piece of discussion today, which is on the Avatar The Way of Water.
Say it right.
Avatar The Way of Water trailer that was screened exclusively in front of Multiverse of Madness. Yeah. As of right now, you'll probably see it next week if you don't go to watch it.
I think it'll be released next week online.
But man, was this trailer phenomenal. What was your first thoughts? I want to get your first thoughts first.
So like I feel like this is where I fall back into that like nerdy cinema kid kind of vibe. The way I was like freaking out how much I love the creativity and the music fight from Doctor Strange. I just like I was like losing my mind when I was watching this, because like in my head it's just going, none of what you see is real. There is not a plant that's real. There is not nothing you see in this. Everything is real. It's none of it. And then like I just love the trailer because it just gave me enough to bring me back to the world of Pandora. And I'm very intrigued. It looks like there's more human incursions coming. It looks like there's that word again, incursion. Yeah. And then I really, really, really loved the final shot of the trailer because it looks like Jake Sully is very peaceful in this. Looks like they've accepted peace and they're happy. And then of course here come humans to ruin everything, as we do, right? And the final shot is him, like final few shots, sorry, is him putting the vest from the first movie back on and grabbing the gun. And then he's underwater and dude, he comes out with a new creature we haven't seen flying through. And I'm just like, yes, let's go. It's going to be great. Look, James Cameron, people may not agree with this statement, but I think James Cameron, as someone just races across my street, James Cameron is one of, if not the greatest action director of all time. I will put that on paper.
I would agree with you on that.
What'd you think, man?
I felt the same way, and particularly what I didn't realize it made me feel something I haven't felt in a long time, and it made me want to tear up. And that's we don't get a lot of distance between sequels anymore, right?
Right.
More so, we don't get to see their trailers surprised on screen anymore. We get them on YouTube. Dude,
I know what you're
we haven't had anything of Avatar for how many years? 15 years? 12 years?
Yeah, 2009 it came out in.
This is the first time I finally had that same feeling of like seeing a property that I wasn't expecting to see for so long, I hadn't seen in so long, up on the big screen again. Like it gave me those similar vibes as like when I first saw the Spider-Man 2 trailer just randomly appear in front of a movie that I was watching. Like I was so hyped. It's like that feeling. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I felt that when it came across the screen. I was like, oh shit! Like I haven't seen these things on screen, and it's so since I was a kid, basically. And it's here again, and we don't get to see this. We don't get to see this happen. I didn't see a frame of this on a smaller screen. This is the first time seeing it on screen in a movie theater. Like that gave me such chills in and of itself. And again, it's that power that I'm just so happy that again James fought for this to be released this way, and I couldn't be happier. And again, to talk about the trailer itself, dude, the fidelity of on what's on screen. What I was looking for was like, how did they advance, particularly the look of the Na'vi, dude, the skin texture. I mean, it looks like they're they're real things being painted over with, with blue paint, like real people. Yeah, it was I was so awestruck with that. The visual fidelity of this movie is going to be insane. And then we didn't get to see it in 3D. You didn't see it in 3D, right? I didn't.
No, I didn't go see it in 3D. I wouldn't.
My screening wasn't in 3D either. Me either.
The only 3D movie I'm going to is Avatar 2. Yeah.
So my only gripe is that I didn't get to see this one in 3D, and I can't wait to see it in 3D. It's just going to be even crazier. But I don't know what else to say. But I'm just so ready. I'm ready. Let's just we've been waiting this for forever. Yeah. James is one of. I wouldn't put anybody past to say that he's is the greatest action director of all time. Sure, yeah, because like every single one of his films is just a new block or new pillar for cinema.
There's I mean, like most people in their top 10 countdowns of action movies have at least 2 James Cameron films in it, and they don't even realize it. T2 and Aliens.
Yeah,
I mean. True Lies is a fantastic action film that nobody talks about.
Dude, I would put that shot of at the end when they're on with the bridge and the helicopter, and when he pulls her out of the car, and it just stays. Like that is one of the greatest shots in cinema history, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That is real. Like, how do
Yeah.
you plan something like that?
Dude,
Crazy.
I don't know. It's
Crazy
so good.
shot.
I
It's
love
a crazy shot.
I love True
beautiful.
Lies. I could watch that
I love
movie
that
over and over and
Me too.
over again.
And I have.
Tom Arnold is so fucking funny
He's
in
so
it.
funny.
Yeah.
Tom Arnold's so great.
When they're on the radio, speaking of that helicopter shot, they're on the radio and you sure it won't detonate the nuke?
Yeah.
And he goes, no, it won't detonate. And then he looks over. Maybe it won't. I don't know. Shit. We're gonna find out. But
not my wheelhouse
dude,
here.
back to Avatar 2.
Yeah,
I just think that this movie's gonna be
We can't expect anything less than greatness. I don't think.
right. Yeah, at this point, like it's great. And like, hey, Marvel, you don't have to wait a month before the movie comes out to drop your first teaser trailer. Like this is all I wanted for Thor. Yeah. But instead you gave me a 30-second spot, sorry, a 90-second spot for Thor Love and Thunder with less than a month to go.
Yeah.
So that's just a little gripe there. But yeah, I thought it was great. It looks great. I do have a question. How is it possible that their kid is a human and what looks like they have two kids, right? One is a human, one is a blue girl. What are they called? Oh, Navi.
Blue girl. Dude, granted, no one in pop culture rarely ever calls them by Navi. They say the blue people. So
the blue people, right? The tall blue people.
No, I actually had the same question. I was confused. That is their son? I wasn't sure if that was just
their son. That has to be their son. Maybe he's an adopted
I think so.
son.
Well, okay, so yeah, I don't know. I don't understand.
That's the only question I have.
Because what's Sam Harrington's name? Jake Sully.
Jake Sully.
Yeah. Like he has access to his body still or no?
No, like
he doesn't, right?
Remember, we don't know. Remember, the final scene is him getting transported permanently into his body.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So like into his Navi body. Sorry,
Navi
his Navi
body.
form.
Yeah.
But maybe that body's just there and they do keep it so he can access it. I don't know. I don't know. But like this is a teaser trailer. It left me with questions about it, but it left me excited, which is what it's supposed to do, right? Your AnyDesk is freaking out behind you.
Oh, I pressed the button. My bad.
It's fine.
Here.
Yeah. So yeah, it just left me excited. It was a great teaser trailer. Again, you nailed it, dude. The fidelity. It looks like why does it look so good?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, how many? What's bigger than a tetrabyte or what zettabyte or whatever? It's just to render this entire film.
How big is this movie? Yeah,
that's this trailer.
Wonderful question.
Take 5 years to render? Like I don't know,
dude. I think that I'm interested to see how people react to it being 60 frames.
Okay, I'll say this about the 60. Is it a lot? Is it they're going to say it's 60 frames? Like the whole movie?
So. I think
because
so.
I don't know what they mean by shooting in high frame rate, because that could mean anything above 24, 30. Obviously, or 30. Yeah, 60. I know they were shooting. What's his name was shooting in like 120, and that looked fucking awful.
Peter Jackson.
Hobbit, Peter Jackson,
but remember, I think that looked bad for one particular reason. It was still set in real world. Like there was not Middle Earth, but like they were shooting on actual things and it was actual people. There's not going to be a lot of actual people in this film. It's all 3D rendered.
That's a great point. And as a PC gamer recently and dealing with like frames per second and actually wanting like 120, I get it now. I kind of get it. Yeah. At least for games, why it's better.
Yeah.
You made a great point. It more or less will all be CGI. I mean, obviously there's still human elements. And I also like to think that there'll be some kind of practical stuff, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they're just doing away with it. Maybe. I don't know. We've never really had that. And I'd be interested to see how a almost fully CGI movie could look in a high frame rate. I'm just saying, before that didn't look great, but we'll see. I trust James Cameron.
In James Cameron, we trust. We should probably make that our first T-shirt available. Yeah,
he is not going to let us down. I know for a fact if it looks like shit, he's not going to do it. So, I trust whatever comes.
Yeah, dude. I think there's a lot of reasons to be excited. When they start connecting with the underwater creatures, I'm going to lose my mind. It's going to be very cool.
A lot of people were saying in this trailer when they saw it in 3D at CinemaCon that particularly the underwater stuff. Apparently, there was something going on with the 3D that was just making the underwater stuff particularly look fucking phenomenal.
I don't know if he's gonna save 3D, but I think he will bring it into the next level. Because look, what's the last 3D ride you rode at a theme park?
Oh my god, I don't know.
I can't even remember.
Universal,
yeah, but that actually works, you know, as 3D. So like, you know, maybe he's able to bring that in without the silly like movement and shit.
No, but I was gonna say that works because there's other elements. Plus, you know, you're not gonna sit there for 2 hours.
Good point.
That's the problem is 2 hours.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, I'm ready for it. I can't wait for December. Like it feels like, you know, Kings of Hollywood or old Kings of Hollywood are back this year in terms of you know, Top Gun, Maverick. You got the Avatar 2 coming out. It feels very old school Hollywood like that in a couple of ways, which I think is cool.
I think it's going to be an event. I think again, as long as they play their marketing cards right, I think they know that they gotta get people hyped up again, and it's gonna by December, by like Q4, we're gonna just be in. I mean, they're re-releasing the first Avatar. I think September and like September. September.
Yeah, Olivia hasn't seen the film.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of people haven't. Oh, particularly like people who weren't born yet, probably.
Yeah, she was like super young when the first one came out.
We're gonna like.
Yeah,
I mean, they're gonna remaster it. They're gonna remaster it. I'm gonna go fucking see that.
I'm finding the biggest screen possible. Oh shit, we'll go together, maybe.
Let's go together, dude. Let's just
go up to fuck it, dude. I love the first Avatar. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And I know a lot of people get all mad at me. Oh, the story of Pocahontas. Shut the fuck up. That's not the point. I know it's the story.
A lot of stories and movies are the same as another one.
Nothing's original. You can't gunk on something because it's not super original.
Yeah, it's like people just want to hate. Right. Did you see the CGI? Did you see it in a huge theater? Then you probably don't understand why we're freaking out. So shut up.
All right, man.
Anyway, great talk, man.
Great talk. Yeah. Multiverse of Madness didn't reach the heights we expected it to, but still a fun movie.
Still a good movie. Still a great movie. And Moon Knight did reach my expectations.
Moon Knight reached more heights than I thought it would.
Me too.
Fantastic ending to a overall fantastic show. Marvel, give us more of that. More of disconnected from the overall MCU.
Yeah.
Because it works.
With that.
Maybe it only works because Oscar Isaac is absolutely fantastic as an actor. I mean, he is so good.
Yeah, they did a great job.
And the director.
Pre-production was great. The pre-production, the prep for it was awesome. Good job.
Yeah. And Avatar. Way of the Water.
Yes.
Get excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, guys.